I'm back in Kamuli, a district in eastern Uganda. I've been to Kamuli so many times, but it's been like 3 years since I was here. I'm back to really follow up on a story I did about 2 to 3 years ago of the high rates of teenage pregnancy. No, I'm really excited that I'm back. It's so heartwarming. You know, I came when these babies were, I think they were about a day old, very little cry. I remember holding one of them here and, you know, I didn't know. I talked to her, I talked to parents, but I'm really happy 3 years down the road.
Oluganda lubere luwanvu ino okulabirira abaana bano tujja twapakasa akasente omwana ange atajja na mugala abaana balala baanu nze najja napakasa yaba ku baana nze webanga bali kwanga balamulamu nze najja napakasayo twaba ku baana bano twaba obuyambi sabuni sukali
bakwe kijobe kyokupakasa bakobona mutwalo ogwo oli kwiraka oli planninga musukali okwenda sabuni oli kwenda emmere bukimwayi ngozira oli kolash ngoli kitambuza aho byatukanga bili kolash bili kumena yamenerera omwana yalwala wa mutwala mu idwaliro ayi ngozira kasente wasoka wajja wewola kuyo omuntu eti mpolayo kuwera mutwalo malala guti ndija pakasa nkoleki nkuwa akasente ayenga woli kujja lwisi yakubeti nini okunsaba omutwalo onguzira kankuweye 5 watwala omwana mulala ati ayenga owundi era akakolashi akalwala bebe na byasigala nga bijanga bikalu byanze zena nga bwendi wenkoba nti mama abaana bakuzengolole nze nje neyiye mama teikiriza kobeti tyamano koleki okuma abaana wabatole wala lwaki ovaawo tyamaawo koleki okuma abaana mama yajanga ngumya mpola n'abaana bange zena natyama nakolaki naguma n'abaawo mama akubeti tyama eida kwira ayenga tera emyaka 3 jona ayenga tobona ku musaada oboyiyaki
Ministry y'ebyobulamu yakoba nti abawalanga imwe abava mu nsomero nga muzaire mwireyo musome oyenda okwirayo okusoma iwe
nsobola okwirayo osoma nga ate bya mu mutwe nasobola okufuna ekyalane kyo nga bwendega bwembanga ndeze nsobola okujjanga n'enjiyayo ku aba muntu yayera nafunisa ekyalane kikyo nintunga nga obugoye nintaawo nintunda mbeesaawo ki abaana abange
ate okwirayo mu class noira mu P6
kyotikyenda wenabanga ndi mu isomero nga ndi kusoma tirijja sobola kati kukolaki kubeesaawo baana bange wembanga nfunye nga business eyo nsobola okubaawo nafunako oba olunaku emitwalo 2 nagulamu ako nasuulaawo ewe naaba ku ssomero tibanga nkolaki mifuna kati baba abaana aziraawo buti nze naabaawo ntya ku issomero ng'abaana tibali kufuna ki nsome aye ng'abaana tibali kufuna fiizi ya kusoma
nakubuze yankobanga gumona akola otya oza mwali tabano walumwike kayiga na olumukewo mpera nawo nakola otya omwana yatwenda takali mutoyino ngaka ikutuka magumba gazala mwana yana zanti mwana badaku musalaba salange jali omutoyino natya butinze wana nyando kundekera buno obwana obusatu buno buti bwe bukuze kuzemu nakutwera abana banegala toleka bwana buno obusatu nzati kasobola nkairike nkasobola kulimira abaana bano tisobola kulima tisobola kuba kunira ngoye tisobola kubaliisa munagumira ku baana bo omwana uyu yaguma ayera kai tulina abaana abandi kunabatula amabunda tibabona kuono kyamuliku begomba ino chapati nkati omwana ali akaina apera kaina kwaga n'oyo mugala emeriro oyo bamukubire gali mu luguudo ngakale kali awo kali mu gwegwebya bamukuba basada bakuno bagalika lukunani kontuma
aye mama abaana bano mubakuba ku bintu bya obutegaita mwenga abazaire wano kubugulumbya mubakobera ebintu bino oba nte mubakobera
ebintu ebya yatambula kujja ku isomero tovayo kuna ikonto eyo tovayo awo naona ate bafunira amabunda awo kuna ikonto na ku isomero oyo omwana abirajja ku muto ino gajja ku isomero ayaniziza zena wale kuna ikonto mwidizo guboko niwo mtula enemboko umwana tubawulira baja batulama kunda kuna ikonto kaleka ikidomolo yajalo wo mulenzi kuba mne tuyakachapatika no munsawo yaje yebikadu yale chapati.
Say a special thank you to all of you who supported this family when they were in critical need at the time when the babies had just been born. You did amazingly well. You donated and we delivered the donations here. It's because of your support that these kids have been able to grow up well. But, you know, they still need your support. So you have clothes, you have bed sheets, you have, you know, food, everything. Just let's give back to community. So from here, we're going to go to one of the schools. We've heard that out of, you know, COVID alone, this financial year, about 6,530 cases of teenage pregnancies have been registered, according to the District Health Information System, which is quite a big number. So we're going to go to one of the schools to find out how they are keeping up with these girls, or how they are really helping them, and did they even come back to school, right? The journey continues.
From the pandemic, children came back, but in few numbers, and mostly girls, they were very few because they had certain problems. Others got pregnant, others got married, then others were taken to do casual labor. Then those who were absent and they were still at home, we went for outreaches and we brought them back. Then those who were pregnant, since they were at school, we allowed them to stay at school. Since we found them pregnant, we were guiding and counseling. We were telling them that if you fall sick, you tell us early so that we can help. We were encouraging and inviting the parent to take the child for antenatal. Then when it comes to feeding, because they must be fed well, we were giving them support to feed at school.
This 14-year-old, whom we shall call Aisha, not her real names, is a student here at Lugoroire Primary School in Kamuli District. She's 8 months pregnant and forms part of the statistic of girls who got pregnant during the pandemic. She was accepted back into school and she's been going against all odds to stay in school. She's currently in P6. She says the school administration and her fellow students have been supportive. The teachers too, she adds, have been helpful. She also reveals that she got pregnant after her sexual debut with an 18-year-old boyfriend. Aisha says that at that time she had never heard of contraceptives or condoms. Ayenga wali omanyi ku bintu ng'okozesa kondomu ki oba wabanga tubidi. The senior woman teacher Naisaza Monica tells us Aisha was told by her parents to go fend for herself.
Some parents tell them you gotta seek for the food, like that one. They're in a center. Their parents have just a plot, they don't have where to dig. So he was seeking food for the family. So she was told by the parents, you can seek what you want. That's what she always tells me. Me, as you see, we don't have where to go, so we must cater for ourselves like that.
Naisaza says it would make a difference if contraceptives were accessible to these teenagers.
It's better we provide them with condoms and contraceptives like that. Our Honorable Kadaga is from this district. We admire to get other Kadagas like that one. But now if they get pregnant...
For now though, she can only use her experience as a senior woman to talk to these teenagers about sex education, with hope that her message will be taken up to avoid any other of them from getting pregnant.
Menstruation, good. omubiri gwagwe taguwaire kitiibwa kiki ekijja okuyirira tandika kulimbalimba mukubye hips digenda bwe digenda akabina kalyere.
She, however, has more work to do, teaching other teenage mothers who have returned to school after giving birth how to take care of their babies, at the same time stay alert and attentive in class. That is a delicate balance for girls who have matured before 18 but have been given a second chance at education. I met up with Angela Nabutono, the Kamuli District Health Educator. She is worried about the high number of teenage pregnancies in the district. She says that 6,000 cases registered in this financial year alone could just be a drop in the ocean.
That is what is recorded in the DHIS2, but we think it is even more, because not all who are pregnant go to the health facility.
Nabutono attributes the high numbers to lack of information on contraceptives for young people.
Random sampling, someone can, for those who got pregnant, if you ask them, have you ever heard of family planning services? Some have never had. Some have ever had only myths and misconceptions about them. Someone have ever even feared to access them because their parents tell them it is bad to have the family planning methods, but they don't tell them that it is bad to have early sexual activity.
She faults the Ministry of Education for failing to pass the National Schools Health Policy.
Then in school, where we are supposed to learn everything, even the teachers are not well versed of what to tell, the age-appropriate information. We have been distributed with the National Sexuality Education Framework almost to every school, but not every teacher knows how to communicate, knows what is in the book and to tell these children. There are a few things we do, menstrual hygiene, a few things, but the age appropriate is still low.
She also commented on the recent guidelines passed by the Ministry of Health on the prevention and management of teenage pregnancies in school.
Teachers, they think that if someone is pregnant, is supposed to be out of school. They are going to expel these ones who are in school. They expel, that is obvious. We are not going to deny. They are leaving them. They go, they leave them out when they produce. Maybe they can come.
Out of the 6,000 teenage pregnancies, only 3,000 come and give birth in medical facilities. And about 1,000 crude abortions are carried out. And the way I know this is because these girls come to these health facilities for post-abortion care. So, and they come when they're in bad state. So I'm going to meet medical officers at Bugulumbia Health Center 3 to really hear from them about what they're doing to stop the teenage pregnancy.
It is a bit challenging just because the number increases at times and it decreases. But according to the ones who come at the facility, we see that many pregnant teenage mothers are there in the village, but I don't know whether they fear to come at the facility. But the ones I face as me, I advise them to come at the facility for ANC to deliver in the facility. But according to our report, it has also increased. When we talk to them, we advise them to come, and they come for family planning. But also others say, my parents don't want me to go in family planning. Parents are good at denying those guys to use family planning. The reason why I've told you that we talk to them accordingly. You counsel, you advise, and as you know, these things are optional. She might say, I can use family planning, but Msao don't give me implant. My mother is going to see the strapping, she's going to ask it.
As I continue on this journey, I'm going to be speaking to Brian. I think she mentioned Brian. Brian is a very long friend of mine who I worked with about 3 years ago on the Mature Before 18 project. And I would love to talk to him again.
So if students are finding more time at school, they need to be built from the school environment. Yeah. And that's why the school health policy now becomes important. The school health policy will tell you what should be done for us to empower these young people with health life skills that can help them thrive through the challenging environment, make informed decisions if they meet this. And what happens if in case now we have one who faces such a challenge, government is not looking at the future of the young people because it just doesn't care. It has failed to define the quality of the population they want. That's why you don't see deliberate enforcement. A young kid can be pregnant and passes the police and no one is shocked. But a chicken thief will be stoned. So we need to go back and look at the school health policy. 22 years means we are unserious. We are beyond unserious. A legislator who knows how many legislators are in Kamuli? 6,000 teenage pregnancies, and you want evidence when you have data? When you have stories, case stories, every day there is a case story about a teenage pregnancy. Just Kamuli alone, since 2014 they are registering 10,000. Those are generations. 10 years, you have how many teenage pregnancies do you want to see?
You know, I've been speaking to different stakeholders about this issue, and I leave Kamuli with so many questions that I need answers. I'm heading back to Kampala to speak to the Ministry of Education regarding the school's health policy and why they have taken 22 years to pass this document, because there is no supporting legal framework on guiding teachers and parents on how much information should be accessed and should be told to their pupils. So questions should be answered. The Ministry of Education spokesperson, Dr. Dennis Mujimba, blames the Ugandan society for failing all the ministry's effort to enforce sexuality education in schools.
Because of the sensitivity, if you've been in this country long, you know the sensitivity, cultural sensitivities about communication on sexuality. And some parents, not just the religious folks, some parents felt that the teachers are not the best instruments or platform or medium to pass on sexuality, sexual reproductive health messages.
He says that the government cannot force the school's health policy down the throats of the society that doesn't want it.
Implementing a policy, you need discussion with all the stakeholders to bring them on board, because it's not about government pushing down the throat of users a policy it has come up with. You'll get a backlash. Sustainability in education happens when parents are on board, when owners of the service provision centers are on board.
That is a very, very big problem. And to sort that, really there are some few things we can do. First of all, we can wait for these girls to deliver. After delivering, like after 1 year, when they have weaned their children, they can be cancelled and they go back to school. Secondly, we must also do preventive measures to make sure that the girls who are not yet pregnant do not become pregnant. The moment girls keep longer in school, and you have started with COVID, you saw it. The moment girls stay longer in school, it has been proven it is inversely proportional to the pregnancies they get.
The school's health policy has been on the shelves for the last 22 years, and government has been slow at passing it. In September 2021, Uganda's Prime Minister Robina Nabanja informed Parliament that once Cabinet approves, the policy will be tabled on the floor of Parliament and considered. The policy tasks government to enact relevant laws and legislation to enable the implementation of the policy. The draft policy recommends measures including health education, physical education, sanitation, safe water, and good nutrition, among others. The Education Ministry has attributed the delays to a wide range of consultations with several stakeholders. Health rights activist and the executive director of the Center for Health, Human Rights and Development, Fatia Chiange, says that whilst the ministry has come up with different frameworks and guidelines, the delay in passing the school's health policy has had a negative impact for many young people in schools.
And, when I talk about the health and well-being of learners in schools, I'm talking about all the key aspects of health. Infectious diseases, they are not just out of school. Even students in schools are having infectious diseases like HIV/AIDS, clearly also COVID-19, sexually transmitted infections, and many others. Measles is also an infectious disease. They are having these infectious diseases, but on top of that, they are having non-communicable diseases. And indeed, they are having issues of reproductive health, such as the teenage pregnancies and so on. So I think we have to have that overarching policy framework that brings all these issues together and guides schools, guides communities, guides the public on how to manage the health and well-being of young people. So clearly, a national school health policy comes in to help us. Not just for COVID, but for other issues of health and well-being for young people. HIV/AIDS, how are we managing in schools?
Chiange adds that the lack of information has created a gap for misinformation on pregnancy and myths that children have ended up following.
If these girls are given information about their sexuality, don't we think some of those who fall prey to defilements probably can be reduced in numbers?
She adds that government needs to fast-track the passing of the policy.
Our fertility rate, total fertility rate of 5.4. When you combine all these factors, they are going to impact significantly on the development of this country if we do not address them today.
The debate of morality versus reality returns each time conversations on the school's health policy resurface. Maybe it's time to look at the numbers to take an informed decision about such a policy to save the next generation of young people, a generation that is exposed to information to make informed decisions. And for the Ministry of Education's move to give the girl child a second chance, it is a game changer to keep dreams alive for many girls who got pregnant while in school because their dreams are still valid. Solomon Serwanja, AIIJ unveils.